Good evening, and welcome to this sanctuary of peace. If you are here, it's because you seek refuge, a place to rest your mind after the weight and noise of another day. Night should be a time of rest, but often, it's when our thoughts become loudest, replaying the past and rehearsing the future, robbing us of the tranquility we so deserve. In the next 2 hours, I invite you on a different journey, a gentle immersion in 20 Stoic reflections, carefully chosen not to challenge your mind, but to soothe it, not to build a fortress, but to open the doors to the peace that already exists within you. This is not a philosophy lesson, but a meditation guided by the ancient wisdom of Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, masters in the art of serenity. Stoic wisdom teaches us that disturbance doesn't come from external events, but from our judgments about them, and it is precisely at night that these judgments tend to haunt us. The objective of this journey, therefore, is simple: to learn to let go, to release the day's worries, to release control over what doesn't belong to us, and to release the struggle against our own thoughts. Our nightly journey will be divided into 3 stages of relaxation. First, we will slow down the day, gently processing lived experiences and disconnecting from the state of alert. Then, we will calm the soul, cultivating gratitude and acceptance to dissolve anxiety and resentment. Finally, we will surrender to rest, using profound perspectives to feel safe, at peace, and ready to dive into a deep and restorative sleep. There's nothing you need to do, nothing to achieve. Just find a comfortable position. Close your eyes. Allow your body to feel heavy and relaxed. Let my voice and the soft music be like a tranquil river, carrying away what no longer serves you. Tonight, you don't need to fight. You just need to allow. Allow yourself to rest. Allow yourself to find peace. Let's begin. First Stoic. Reflection. The gentle nightly review. Making peace with the day. In the silence that now surrounds us, the soul seeks the safe harbor of rest, but the mind, like a loyal sailor, insists on remaining at its watch. The day that now bids us farewell has left its marks on us, its echoes of unfinished conversations, fragments of tasks that will extend into tomorrow, and the subtle feelings that, during the bustle of the hours, had no space to be fully felt. This invisible baggage, this collection of unprocessed moments, is what often becomes the anchor that prevents us from sailing to the calm waters of sleep. The great Stoic philosopher Seneca, at the end of each day, conducted an honest dialogue with his soul, reviewing his actions and thoughts, not as a relentless prosecutor, but as a wise and gentle master. Tonight, inspired by him, we will do the same, but adapting his practice not for active improvement, but for passive release. Our intention is not criticism, but compassion, not analysis, but acceptance. Imagine, if you wish, that the memories and emotions of your day are like autumn leaves of varied colors, scattered on the tranquil lawn of your consciousness. There is no need to sweep them away in haste or anger. The invitation is to walk among them, observing each one with serene curiosity before the evening breeze carries them away. Allow the first image of your day, the moment when the morning light awakened you, to come to your mind. Let it float effortlessly and then dissipate. Follow the thread of time, letting the scenes of your day pass before your mental eyes, not as an urgent film, but as a succession of paintings in a silent gallery. Don't cling to any of them. If a moment of genuine joy, connection, or contentment arises, pause. Acknowledge it with a silent nod of gratitude. Feel the gentle warmth that this memory still radiates, and then, with a gentle exhale, let it go. If, in your walk, you encounter a darker leaf, a moment of frustration, sadness, conflict, your task is even deeper in its simplicity. Observe it without shrinking, without the need to rewrite history. Breathe deeply and envelop this memory with the light of unconditional compassion, as if you were holding a wounded bird in your hands. Acknowledge that you acted with the knowledge, energy, and resources you possessed at that moment. Whisper to yourself, "I did the best I could." The power of this exercise lies in its totality. By looking at the beautiful and the painful, the easy and the difficult, you are communicating to your mind that the day, in its entirety, has been seen, it has been honored, and therefore, it can be considered complete. The struggle has ceased. Now, and only now, can we truly rest. For this release to be complete, let's transform this idea into a real sensation in your body and mind. Join me in this visualization. Breathe deeply, imagining that your breath is a night breeze, calm and purifying. As you exhale, long, slow, and gently, visualize this breeze gently blowing on the leaves of your memories. See how the first leaf, the one from your awakening, rises from the ground and floats away, dissolving into the air. Continue to breathe in this way, calmly and effortlessly. With each exhale, see another leaf being carried away by the breeze. The leaf of that difficult conversation, the leaf of that stressful task, the leaf of that spontaneous laugh. One by one, see them being surrendered to the night, released from your mind. You are the silent observer of this cleansing process. Feel the space that begins to open in your consciousness. A space once filled with the noise of the day, now becoming silent, clear and vast. Feel the peace that fills this space. It is a peace that does not depend on having had a perfect day, but that is born from the acceptance of a real day. Continue breathing, feeling the breeze carrying away the last leaves until the lawn of your mind is clean, serene, and ready to receive the dew of sleep. You are free. Second Stoic reflection, releasing the burden of control, the empty backpack. As your body sinks a little deeper into the comfort of your bed, I invite you to observe a subtle tension that may still reside in your muscles, in your jaw, in the knots of your shoulders. It is the physical tension of control, the bodily manifestation of a mind that refuses to rest. Throughout the day, we strive to manage, plan, predict, and influence the world around us. It is necessary work, but exhausting, and at night, when the body longs for rest, the mind, out of habit, refuses to relinquish its command post. It continues to rehearse tomorrow's conversations, to strategize for problems that don't yet exist, to worry about a million variables that are far beyond its reach. This incessant attempt to control the uncontrollable is the heaviest burden we carry to our rest, a baggage full of stones that we insist on taking with us to bed. The wise Epictetus, a man who knew the total absence of control over his own body and destiny, offers us the key to releasing this burden. He reminds us, with disarming simplicity, that the vast universe is divided into only two parts, that which is in our power and that which is not. Tonight, in this sanctuary of your bedroom, the things in your power are few and simple: your breath, your attitude of acceptance, and your decision to allow your muscles to relax. Everything else, tomorrow's events, other people's decisions, the results of your future efforts, belongs to the realm of the uncontrollable. Trying to solve tomorrow's problems with today's anxiety is not only useless, but counterproductive. The true and only effective preparation for tomorrow is not nighttime worry, but a deep and truly restorative sleep tonight. The strength, clarity, and patience you will need for the challenges of the future are being forged now, in the quietude of your rest. Your task is not to fight tomorrow's battle in your mind, but to declare an unconditional truce tonight. For this truth to transform into a real feeling of relief, let's use our imagination. Visualize all your worries, all your plans, and all your responsibilities for tomorrow, as if they were contained in a heavy backpack that you are carrying on your back. Even now, lying down, feel its imaginary weight pressing your body against the mattress. Feel the straps tightening your shoulders, the tension it creates in your neck and your entire spine. Acknowledge the effort it takes to carry this weight. Now, with a clear and deliberate intention, with a permission you give yourself, visualize yourself moving your arms slowly, sliding the straps of this backpack off your shoulders. Hear the soft, muffled sound of it being placed on the floor, next to your bed. It is safe. It's not going anywhere. It will be there in the morning if you decide you need to pick it up again. But for tonight, you are free from it. Breathe deeply and feel the immediate wave of relief that runs down your back and shoulders. Feel your shoulders loosen, move away from your ears, and relax into a natural resting position. Exhale long and slowly, releasing any residual tension. Repeat to yourself in a mental whisper, "Tomorrow will take care of itself. Tonight my only duty is to rest." Allow this feeling of lightness and freedom to be your passport to an increasingly deep sleep. Third Stoic reflection. The first pause and the sky of the mind. The mind preparing for sleep can sometimes resemble a night sky during a storm. Thoughts flash without warning, worries echo like distant thunder, and there doesn't seem to be a single moment of peace. A thought about an unfinished task leads to a self-critical thought about failure, which in turn leads to an anxious thought about the judgment of others. It is a cascade of agitation that seems to have a life of its own, a storm that drags us into its chaotic center. We identify so deeply with this storm of thoughts that we forget a fundamental and liberating truth. We are not the storm clouds, we are the sky. The Stoics taught us the art of the first pause, that sacred space of consciousness that exists between a stimulus and our reaction to it. For the purpose of sleep, we can adapt this practice to stimuli that come from within. When an anxious thought arises in your mind, the usual reaction is to fight it, try to push it away, or else cling to it and follow it in its downward spiral. The practice of pausing invites us to a different path, a path of non-resistance. Simply observe. Acknowledge the presence of the thought without giving it your consent, without giving it the power of your full attention. This pause is an act of remembrance. It is the moment when we remember that we are the vast, silent, and imperturbable night sky, and thoughts are merely transient meteorological phenomena. Clouds of worry may seem dark and threatening, but they cannot in any way injure or stain the vastness of the sky. They simply pass through it. By cultivating this posture of a calm and spacious observer, we stop feeding the storm with our energy. The simple act of not reacting, of not engaging, causes thoughts to lose their momentum. They arise, are seen in their impersonal nature, and dissolve back into the quietude from which they came. The silence you seek is not the absence of thoughts, but the discovery of the silent space in which they occur. Let's now immerse ourselves together in this sensation. Close your eyes gently and bring your attention to the dark and calm space behind your eyelids. Imagine that this space is the night sky, infinite and serene. Now, just observe your thoughts as they arise without any effort. Give each one the shape of a passing cloud. A small cloud of a memory from the day, a gray cloud of a worry about tomorrow, a fleeting cloud of random planning. Your only task is to remain as the sky. Don't try to change the clouds. Don't try to make them disappear. Just watch them float in your field of consciousness, moving at their own speed until they naturally dissipate on the horizon. If you notice that your attention has been distracted and you have been carried away by a cloud, traveling with it, gently, without any judgment, return to your perspective as the sky. Observe the quietude that exists behind the clouds. Feel the immutable peace of the sky that you are. With each breath, feel yourself expanding, becoming vaster, more serene, more spacious. The clouds, in turn, seem smaller, more distant, less important. Continue to rest in this wide and open consciousness until all that remains is the deep and starry peace of your true self, ready for rest. Fourth Stoic reflection, the inner citadel as a knight. Sanctuary. Great Stoic masters often spoke of the inner citadel, an impregnable mental fortress built with the bricks of reason and virtue, a place where the soul could retreat to protect itself from the calamities of the outside world. It was a symbol of strength, discipline, and indomitable resilience. Tonight, however, for our purpose of finding rest, let's reimagine this citadel. It won't be a war fortress, prepared for battle, but a sanctuary of peace, a refuge for healing. It's not a place to fight and resist, but a place to welcome and surrender. Within you, at this very moment, behind the flow of sensations and thoughts, there exists a space of absolute silence, of inviolable safety, and of a calm that doesn't depend on any external condition. This sanctuary isn't something you need to build with effort. It's your essence, your center of consciousness, which always has been and always will be present. The outside world may be chaotic and unpredictable. Your day may have been full of challenges and draining interactions. But here, in this sacred inner space, you are completely safe. Nothing and no one can disturb you here unless you, the gatekeeper, give permission. Access to this sanctuary doesn't require an arduous journey, only a gentle shift in the direction of your attention. It's a kind detour, a turning away from the world of worries to the world of presence. It's the conscious decision to close the doors to the noise of the day and light the candle of silent awareness on the altar of your own heart. This sanctuary is your birthright, your private refuge. The night, with its cloak of darkness and silence, is the perfect invitation to return to it, to remember that the peace you seek so much out there already resides within, patiently waiting to be rediscovered and inhabited. I invite you now to take this inward journey. Visualize a softly lit door, perhaps of ancient wood or pure light, in the center of your mind. This is the entrance to your night sanctuary. Feel the texture of the material, the temperature of the knob. With an inhale, feel yourself opening this door and, with an exhale, entering this sacred space. Let your imagination create the details. Perhaps it's an old silent library, with comfortable armchairs and the scent of books and wood. Perhaps it's a secret garden under the light of a silvery moon, with the soft sound of a fountain. Or perhaps it's simply a warm, dark, and comfortable space, like a cocoon, free of shapes and thoughts. Whatever image arises, immerse yourself in its atmosphere. Feel the deep peace emanating from every corner of this place. Feel the absolute safety, the sensation that here, nothing can reach you. Feel the silence, a silence that isn't empty, but full, vibrant with tranquility. No sound from the outside world can penetrate these walls. No worry can cross this threshold. This is your space. Find the most comfortable place inside your sanctuary. It could be a chair, a hammock, or simply the soft floor. Lie down there and feel completely at home, completely protected and welcomed. Know that you can remain in this sanctuary for as long as you wish. Let the peace of this place merge with your breath, and allow it to be the lullaby that will gently guide you to sleep. Fifth, Stoic reflection, dissolving the day in impermanence. The soul, when it quiets, begins to understand one of the most fundamental and liberating laws of the universe, a truth that, when fully embraced, has the power to dissolve the rigidity of our most persistent worries. Everything is impermanent. The nighttime mind has a tendency to solidify the experiences of the day. A mistake we make seems to become a permanent stain on our character. A success we achieve becomes something we cling to for fear of losing. A harsh word we hear echoes as if it had been engraved in stone. We give an eternity's weight to events that are, by their very nature, as fleeting as breath. Stoicism, inspired by older philosophies, constantly reminds us of the incessant flow of reality. Nothing is fixed. Everything moves. Everything transforms. Everything passes. The universe itself is in a state of perpetual becoming. The day that is over, with its victories and defeats, its joys and sorrows, no longer exists, except as an impression in our memory. And even that impression will fade with time. Clinging to any part of it, whether good or bad, is like trying to hold the water of a river with your hands. It's a struggle against the very nature of reality, a struggle that guarantees frustration and prevents rest. Peace, therefore, is not found by trying to fix what is good or erase what is bad, but by accepting the transient nature of all things, by understanding that the day, with everything it contained, has already been delivered to the past. We free ourselves to inhabit the only moment that exists, the now which too will soon become the past. For this philosophical truth to become a feeling of relief in your body, let's visualize it together. Imagine that your consciousness is a vast beach of soft white sand under the soft light of a twilight sky. Now, visualize the significant events of your day being written on that sand. An important conversation, a task completed, a moment of worry, an unexpected joy. See them as words and drawings etched on the surface. They seem so clear, so real, so important. Now bring your attention to your breath. Imagine that each breath is like a gentle wave of the ocean, calm and constant. With each inhale, the water recedes a little. With each exhale, a small wave advances over the sand, a little further each time. Observe how the water, with irresistible gentleness, begins to touch the edges of the written words. There is no violence, no drama. It's a natural, inevitable, and profoundly peaceful process. Continue to breathe, and with each exhale, see the tide of night rising a little more, gently washing away the day's engravings. See the words dissolving, the lines smoothing, the images dissolving back into the wet sand. Worry dissolves. Attachment to success dissolves. Resentment dissolves. Continue until, in your mind, the beach is completely smooth, clean, and empty, reflecting only the calm light of the sky. The sand has been washed. Your mind has been cleansed. It has become a blank slate, free from the residue of the day, ready for the nothingness of deep, restorative sleep. Sixth, Stoic reflection. Rational gratitude as a pillow for the soul. As the quiet of the night deepens around you, observe the natural tendency of the mind to scan the horizon for dangers, even when we are safe in our beds. It searches for what is lacking, for what is wrong, for what could go wrong tomorrow. This is its nature, an ancestral survival mechanism that, in the silence of the night, often turns into a source of anxiety and dissatisfaction. We lie down, but the mind insists on reminding us of bills to pay, goals not achieved, imperfections in ourselves and others. This scarcity mentality is like trying to sleep on a pillow made of stones. Stoic wisdom offers us an antidote, not superficial optimism, but a profound and transformative practice, rational gratitude. This isn't about forcing a feeling of joy for good things, but a gentle and deliberate shift of attention. It's the act of recognizing calmly and soberly the countless fundamental blessings that form the foundation of our existence. Blessings that, because they are so constant, have become invisible to us. It's the appreciation not only for the peaks of joy, but for the stable base of what simply is. The Stoic understands that happiness is not the addition of more things, but the subtraction of desire and the cultivation of appreciation for what is already present. Gratitude, in this view, becomes the softest of pillows, a place where the mind can finally rest, not because the problems have disappeared, but because the focus has shifted to the abundance that coexists with them. It's a silent acknowledgement that, despite all the challenges, there is much to be grateful for, and this perception calms the nervous system and opens the doors to sleep. For this gratitude to become more than a concept, let's feel it in our own bodies, transforming it into a relaxation meditation. Turn your attention to your feet. Think about the work they did for you today, supporting your weight, carrying you through the world. Feel a wave of silent gratitude for them and, in response, allow them to relax completely. Let them become heavy, warm, and completely loose. Bring this awareness to your legs, which gave you the power to move, to stand, to dance. Be grateful for their strength and allow them to surrender completely to the mattress, releasing any tension. Feel the gratitude rise to your torso, to the back that supported you, to the stomach that digested your food, and especially to your heart, which beats faithfully, second by second, without you having to ask, a miracle of rhythm and life that sustains you even while you sleep. Be grateful for this constant pulse and feel your chest soften. Bring the gratitude to your arms and hands, the tools with which you interact with the world, with which you work, create, and embrace. Let them rest, heavy and still, beside your body. Finally, bring the gratitude to your head, to your senses that allowed you to see the daylight, hear the music, feel the touch of a loved one, and above all, be grateful for your mind, for your ability to be conscious, to learn, and even for your ability to choose, at this very moment, to focus on gratitude instead of worry. Allow this wave of bodily appreciation to dissolve the last vestiges of tension. Your whole body, a miracle of complexity and function, is now at rest, sustained by gratitude. And in this feeling of appreciation, the mind finds its own peace. Seventh Stoic reflection, Amor Fati, and the river of destiny. As you rest, immersed in quietude, observe the subtle currents of resistance that may flow through your mind. These are the thoughts that begin with, what if, and if only. What if I had made a different decision? If only that situation hadn't happened. We relive the past, trying to change it in our imagination. We reject aspects of our present life, wishing they were different. This struggle, this silent war against the reality of what was and what is one of the deepest sources of suffering and a formidable barrier to sleep. This resistance is tension. It's the act of trying to swim against the current of a powerful river, an effort that only leads to exhaustion and prevents us from following the flow. The Stoics offer us a radical and profoundly liberating perspective on this condition. Encapsulated in the Latin expression amor fati, the love of fate. This is not passive resignation or reluctant acceptance, but an active and confident embrace of everything life brings us. It's the deep confidence that every event, every twist and turn in the river of our lives, however disconcerting it may seem at the moment, is a necessary and integral part of our journey. It's the wisdom of understanding that fighting against what already is a battle we can never win, and that peace is found not by changing the course of the river, but by learning to float with it. The night is the perfect time to practice this surrender. It's when we can finally stop rowing, drop the oars of resistance, and trust that the flow of life will take us exactly where we need to go. Let's immerse ourselves in this feeling of surrender through a visualization. Imagine that your body is floating on its back, in a vast, calm river of warm water, under a night sky full of stars. The river is the flow of your destiny, the course of your life. Feel the water supporting your body completely, holding you effortlessly. You don't need to do anything to float. The water does all the work. Feel the pleasant temperature on your skin. Listen to the soft, continuous sound of the current, a constant murmur that calms the soul. Look up and see the infinite mantle of stars, silently twinkling in the vastness of space, a reminder of the order and beauty of the cosmos. For a time, you may have tried to swim against the current, trying to return to a shore that is already past, or trying to reach faster a bend that is yet to come. Feel the memory of that struggle in your muscles. Now, with a long, deep exhale, let go. Let go of the struggle. Let your arms and legs relax completely, floating freely in the water. Allow the current to guide you. It may take you left or right. It may speed up or slow down, but you trust that its course is wise and good. You are not adrift. You are being guided. Feel the profound peace that arises from this surrender. The resistance dissolves, and in its place, a feeling of belonging arises, of being in harmony with something much larger than yourself. Continue floating in this river of acceptance, under the gaze of the stars, feeling safe, supported, and at peace, letting the gentle flow carry you deeper and deeper into the ocean of sleep. Eighth Stoic reflection: serenity with the actions of others in neitai. The quiet of the night, when external distractions fall silent, the day's interactions often take on a life of their own in our minds. A harsh word from a colleague, a disapproving glance from a stranger, the disappointment in the attitude of someone we love. These memories can replay in a loop, generating waves of resentment, hurt, or anger, poisoning our peace and keeping us on edge. We feel wounded and, in our minds, we continue the conversation, rehearsing the responses we should have given, seeking justice in an imaginary court. Stoicism offers us a path to freedom from this social prison. It teaches us that disturbance never comes from the other person's action itself, but from our judgment of that action. And crucially, it reminds us of a compassionate truth. People act according to their own understanding of what is right and wrong. As Marcus Aurelius said, when someone offends you, remember that they did so from their own assumption of what was good or bad. Often, the actions that hurt us do not stem from malice, but from the other person's ignorance, fear, or pain. Trying to control or resent the actions of others is drinking a poison we prepare ourselves. Freedom and peace are found when we recognize that the behavior of others belongs to their world, outside our control. Our kingdom is that of our own response. And at night, the wisest and most healing response we can choose is that of release. It is the act of forgiving, not necessarily because the other deserves it, but because our soul deserves peace. To transform this understanding into a feeling of relief, let's practice a ritual of release. Think of an interaction or person that caused you pain or frustration today or recently. Allow the image and the feeling associated with it to arise in your mind. just for a moment. Acknowledge the pain. Now imagine that this feeling of resentment, anger, or hurt has a physical form. Imagine it as a dark, heavy stone with sharp edges, which you hold firmly in your hand. Feel its weight. Feel how its sharp edges hurt your palm. Recognize the effort it takes to continue holding this stone. It is not hurting the other person. It is only hurting you, draining your energy and disturbing your peace. Now, visualize yourself standing on the bank of a fast-flowing river. Look at the stone in your hand. Thank it for the lesson it may have taught you about your own limits, about the need to protect yourself, about human nature. And then, with a deliberate intention to free yourself, open your hand, feel your fingers stretching, releasing the tension. Watch the stone fall from your hand, heavy, and plunge into the water with a soft sound. See how the current immediately grabs it and carries it away, to the bottom of the river, until it disappears from sight. It's gone. Your hand is empty, light, and free. Breathe deeply and feel the lightness that now fills not only your hand, but your entire being. You no longer need to carry this weight. You have chosen peace. Allow this feeling of freedom and lightness to accompany you in your sleep, a sleep unimpeded by the weight of others. Ninth Stoic reflection: the riches of the present moment. As you rest, observe where your consciousness is drawn. How often does it inhabit places that are not here and now? Does it travel to the past, a museum of memories where we relive past regrets and glories, a place that can no longer be touched or altered? Or does it leap to the future, a theater of fantasies where we rehearse anxieties and hopes, a place that has not yet been born and may never exist as we imagine? Seneca warns us that we suffer much more in imagination than in reality. Almost all the anxiety we feel is a mental construct about a future that does not exist, and almost all regret is an attachment to a past that is gone. In this constant exile between what was and what will be, real life, the I.e. only one we have, happens and fades unnoticed. The only reality, the only point of contact with existence, the only place where peace can be found, is in this exact present moment. Stoicism calls us back home, to the infinite richness of the here and now. For the Stoic, the present is not just a fleeting instant, but the only field where we can exercise our virtue, our attention, and our ability to find tranquility. At night, in its quietude, is the perfect time to practice this return home, to disarm anxiety and regret, simply anchoring oneself in the undeniable reality of one's present moment. To escape the clutches of the time-traveling mind, let's firmly anchor ourselves in the sensations of our body, our portal to the now. Gently turn all your attention to the sensation of your body lying down. Feel the points of contact between your body and the bed. Feel the weight of your head on the pillow. Feel gravity gently pulling your shoulders, your arms, your hips, your legs downwards into a state of deep relaxation. Observe, without trying to change, the texture of the sheets or blanket against your skin. Is it soft? Is it smooth? Is it warm or cold? There is no need for words. Just feel. Now, bring your consciousness to the subtle and constant sound of your own breath. Listen to the sound of the air entering and leaving your nostrils. Feel the slight expansion of your chest or abdomen with each inhalation, and the gentle release with each exhalation. This rhythm is the sound of your present moment. It is real. It is constant. It is calming. If your mind begins to wander to a thought about the past or the future, gently, as if guiding a child back home, bring your attention back to the sensation of your breath. Make it your anchor. Whenever the storm of thoughts threatens to take you away, hold on to this anchor. Breathing is always in the now. Your body is always in the now. Continue to rest in this sensory awareness, feeling, listening, being. You will discover that, in the present moment, there are no problems. There are only sensations, breath, and a deep peace that has always been here, waiting to be noticed. 10th Stoic reflection: the impermanence of problems. In the silence and darkness of the night, a problem or worry can assume gigantic proportions. Without the distractions of the day to diminish its size, a small fear can grow to fill our entire mental universe. It may seem solid, permanent, insurmountable. The mind fixates on it, examining it from all angles, and the more we look, the more insurmountable it seems. This feeling of permanence is an illusion, a lie that the anxious mind tells us. The deepest truth of the universe, recognized by the Stoics and by many other traditions of wisdom, is that of impermanence. Everything flows, everything changes, nothing remains the same. Just as the seasons succeed each other, just as clouds cross the sky, just as day gives way to night, our problems are also in a state of flux. The situation that worries you today will not be the same in a week, in a month, or in a year. The emotions that seem so overwhelming now will eventually diminish in intensity. Life itself is a river, and trying to cling to a moment, whether good or bad, is to resist its fundamental nature. Embracing the truth of impermanence is not an act of blind optimism, but of profound realism. It is the recognition that the solidity of our problems is a construction of our own minds. By remembering that this too shall pass, we introduce perspective and hope into the equation, creating the mental space necessary for calm to return. To internalize this liberating truth, let's embark on a journey through time with our imagination. Let your body relax deeply and allow your consciousness to float out of it, rising gently, as if you were in a hot air balloon. Rise above your house, above your city, and look at your life as a long timeline stretching from the past to the future. Now direct your gaze to the past. See, along this line, the peaks of other mountains, the great problems and worries that at some point seemed insurmountable. Remember a past challenge that caused you sleepless nights. See it from this great distance. Observe how small it seems now, how it has been worn away by time, how life has continued to flow around and through it. You overcame it. It passed. Now, turn your attention to the mountain of your current problem. See it in its position on the timeline. It may seem large now, but from this elevated perspective, you can see that it is also just a point on a much longer journey. Now project your consciousness into the future. Imagine yourself a year from now, 5 years from now, looking back at today. From this future vantage point, look at the mountain of your current problem. See how it has already diminished in size. See that life has continued, that new landscapes have emerged. Feel the wisdom and calm that this temporal perspective brings you. What seems so solid and threatening now is just a passing cloud in the vastness of your life's sky. Breathe this truth. Let it dissolve the urgency and fear. Trust the flow of time. This too shall pass. And with that certainty, allow yourself to rest. 12th Stoic reflection, accepting human imperfection. In the quiet of the night, when the ego's defenses are lowered, our inner critic often takes over. It's an unforgiving voice that replays the list of our day's failings and mistakes. You shouldn't have said that. You failed at that task. You're not good enough. This relentless pursuit of perfection, this inability to forgive ourselves for our shortcomings, is a form of self-flagellation that breeds deep anxiety and keeps us in a state of vigilance and tension. We lie down to rest, but the mind transforms into a court of law, where we are simultaneously the prosecutor, the judge, and the defendant. Stoicism offers a balm for this self-inflicted wound, the radical acceptance of our own and shared humanity. No human being is perfect, not even the great sages we admire. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations are a poignant testament to this. Page after page, we see the world's most powerful man battling laziness, irritation, distraction. He wasn't writing from a pedestal of perfection, but from a trench of daily effort. Stoic wisdom doesn't reside in achieving impeccability, but in committing to continuous progress, prokopton, compassionately lifting ourselves up each time we stumble. Perfection isn't the goal, the practice is the goal. By reminding ourselves that fallibility is part of the human condition, we soften our hearts towards ourselves. We stop demanding a standard from ourselves that would be impossible for anyone, and we begin to treat ourselves with the same tolerance and kindness a good friend would offer. This self-compassion isn't an excuse for mediocrity, but the necessary condition for resilience and peace. To allow this acceptance to become a warm embrace in your soul, let's engage in a visualization of self-care. Imagine yourself sitting in a calm and safe place. Before you, visualize a version of yourself who made a mistake today, or who feels inadequate in some way. See the expression of worry or sadness on their face. Now, instead of turning away or criticizing this image, approach it with the same tenderness you would offer a frightened child. Extend your hands and gently place them on this version of your shoulders. Look into their eyes and say, silently or in a mental whisper, the words you most need to hear. Perhaps it's okay, you are human, or you did the best you could, I forgive you, or simply, I accept you, exactly as you are. Feel the barrier of self-criticism begin to dissolve. Now, visualize yourself hugging this version of yourself. A hug of total, unconditional acceptance. Feel your body relax in this embrace. Feel the tension dissipate. Allow yourself to be imperfect. Allow yourself to be a work in progress. Imagine this acceptance as a warm, soft blanket enveloping your entire being. It's a blanket woven with the threads of compassion and understanding. Feel the comfort and security it provides. You no longer need to strive for perfection to deserve rest. You deserve rest simply because you exist. Rest within this blanket of self-acceptance. Let its warmth and softness protect you from any critical thoughts that may arise. And enveloped in this peace, allow yourself to drift off to sleep. 13th Stoic Reflection. The power of detachment. Apatheia. As you rest, observe how your inner peace can be fragile, how it can be easily disturbed by the ups and downs of life. Good news elevates us to peaks of euphoria. A criticism or a small failure plunges us into valleys of discouragement. Our tranquility seems entirely dependent on the tides of external circumstances. We live on an emotional roller coaster, and such a volatile state is the enemy of deep, consistent sleep. The Stoics sought a state they called apatheia. This word is often mistranslated as apathy, suggesting a cold, lifeless indifference. But its true meaning is far richer and more desirable. Apatheia is not the absence of feelings, but the absence of irrational and disturbing passions. It's a state of equanimity, of tranquility and inner calm that is unshaken by the winds of fortune. It's the ability to feel joy without becoming euphoric, to feel sadness without despairing, to feel anger without being consumed by it. It's not about becoming a stone, but about becoming like a deep ocean. The ocean's surface may be churned by storms, with high waves and foam, but in the depths, an absolute and imperturbable stillness reigns. Cultivating apatheia is learning to inhabit these calm depths of our own consciousness, watching life's storms pass on the surface without their disturbing our essential peace. It's the discovery of an inner refuge that is immune to external crises, a place of stability from which we can weather any storm. To find the path to these silent depths, let's use the power of our imagination. Visualize your consciousness as a vast ocean. The surface of this ocean represents your everyday thoughts and emotions. Observe the surface now. Perhaps there are waves of worry about tomorrow. Perhaps there's a current of irritation about something that happened today. Perhaps there's a gentle breeze of a happy thought. Just observe the climate on the surface of your mind for a moment. Now, make the conscious decision to dive. Visualize yourself sinking gently downwards, leaving the turbulent surface behind. As you descend, the movement begins to slow. Sounds become muffled. The light becomes softer, more diffuse. Descend further, and further down to a place of total silence and stillness. Here, in the depths of your being, there are no waves. There is no wind. There is only a vast, calm, and peaceful quietude. Feel the gentle, comforting pressure of the water around you, like an embrace. Rest in this place of profound tranquility. From here, you can look up and see, in the distance, the turbulence of the surface, but it cannot reach you. You are safe and at peace in your own depths. Life's storms come and go, but this deep stillness is always available to you. It is your true nature. Remain in this state of profound equanimity. Feel how it calms your entire nervous system. Let this feeling of abyssal peace be the environment in which you fall asleep, knowing that no matter what happens on the surface tomorrow, you can always return to this place of unshakable calm. 14th Stoic Reflection. The community of sleep. Sympathia. In the darkness of night, when insomnia strikes, a feeling of isolation can set in. The house is silent, the world outside seems asleep, and we feel alone in our wakefulness, alone with our anxious thoughts, as if we were the only ones in the entire universe to wage this battle for peace. This feeling of loneliness can intensify anxiety, creating a vicious cycle. Stoicism offers a powerful antidote to this isolation, the doctrine of sympathia, the belief in the interconnectedness of all things. The Stoics saw the universe not as a collection of separate entities, but as a single living organism, where each part is connected to all others. We are all, as Marcus Aurelius said, citizens of the world, and tonight we can apply this idea in a profoundly comforting way. At this very moment, as you lie in your bed, you are not alone. Millions, perhaps billions, of other human beings on your side of the planet are also seeking rest. In your city, on your street, perhaps even in the house next door, there are other souls who, like you, yearn to let go of the day's worries and find peace in sleep. You are part of a vast and silent community of sleep. Your nocturnal struggles are not just yours. They are part of the shared human experience, and your desire for peace is a universal desire. By feeling part of this community, the burden of our personal insomnia lessens. We cease to be an isolated individual battling the darkness and become part of a vast chorus of breaths, an ocean of consciousness preparing to rest. Let's connect with this community now, through a meditation of compassion and unity. Continue lying comfortably, feeling the gentle rhythm of your own breath. Now, expand your consciousness beyond yourself. Imagine the soft sound of the breathing of your loved ones sleeping in your home. Feel their peace and know that you share the same desire for rest. Expand your consciousness further to the homes of your neighbors. Imagine hundreds of people, each in their bed, breathing gently, surrendering to sleep. Broaden your perception to encompass your entire city. Visualize it not as a place of frenetic activity, but as a vast network of beings at rest, all breathing together in the quiet of the night. Continue to expand your mind, visualizing your entire country, the entire continent, the entire hemisphere of the planet that is now turned towards darkness. Feel the collective breath of billions of people. Feel how your own breath, this simple act of inhaling and exhaling, connects you to them all. You are a note in this immense symphony of rest. Now send a silent wish for peace to all these beings. Whisper in your heart, may all find rest. May all anxious minds calm down. May all feel safe. As you send this compassion outwards, feel how it also fills your own being. You are no longer alone in your quest. You are part of something much larger. Feel the comfort and strength that comes from this belonging. Let the collective breath of humanity cradle you. And, as a member of this vast community of sleep, give yourself permission to join them in rest. 15th Stoic Reflection: the wisdom of not complaining. As we approach sleep, the mind can easily fall into a pattern of rumination that is the enemy of peace, complaining. The internal monologue can become a litany of grievances. We complain about our work, our health, the actions of other people, the state of the world. We complain about the heat, the cold, the noise, the silence. Each complaint, verbalized or merely thought, is like throwing a small twig onto a bonfire of negativity. It fuels the agitation, reinforces a victim mentality, and keeps our nervous system in a state of alert and dissatisfaction. Epictetus taught that the mark of a wise person is that they never blame others. The mark of a person in progress is that they never blame themselves, and the mark of a person who has begun to understand wisdom is that they blame no one. This includes the act of not complaining about fate or circumstances. Complaining is a form of resistance to reality. It's the declaration that things shouldn't be this way, and as we have already seen, this resistance is the main source of our suffering. The Stoic path to nighttime tranquility involves the conscious practice of letting go of the need to complain. It's not about pretending everything is perfect, but about accepting circumstances as they are, without adding a layer of negative commentary. It's the choice to focus on acceptance instead of aversion, on the solution, if there is one, instead of the problem, and most importantly for sleep, on quietude instead of the noise of complaint. By silencing the inner complainant, we allow the bonfire of agitation to die down, leaving only the warm, tranquil embers of acceptance. To cultivate this quietude, let's practice the act of simply being with reality, without the need to comment on it. Bring your attention to the sensations in your body, exactly as they are right now. Perhaps there's a slight ache in your shoulder. The complaining mind immediately says, "This pain is terrible. It'll never go away. Why is this happening to me?" The wise mind, on the other hand, simply notes, "There is a sensation of pain in the shoulder." No story, no complaint, just the observation of the pure sensation. Practice this now. Scan your body and just note the present sensations, without labeling them as good or bad. Now, expand this awareness to your environment. Listen to the sounds around you, without complaining about the noise or wishing for silence. Just let the sounds be what they are. Feel the temperature of the air, without complaining about the heat or the cold. It simply is the temperature that it is. Finally, observe any thoughts that arise in your mind with the same attitude. If a thought of complaint arises, don't follow it, don't judge it, just note it as a mental event and let it pass, without giving it any more energy. Breathe deeply, and as you exhale, release the need for things to be different from what they are at this very moment. Feel the peace that arises when you stop struggling with reality. It's a simple, quiet, and profoundly healing peace. Repeat to yourself, in this moment, everything is as it should be. Remain in this silent acceptance. Let it be your portal to sleep, a state where complaint does not exist, and all that remains is being. 16th Stoic Reflection. The body as servant, not master. As you settle deeper into your bed, bring your awareness to your physical body. Night is a time when bodily sensations, often ignored during the day, can take center stage. A slight ache in your back, a restless leg, feeling too warm or too cool. Easily, these sensations can capture our full attention, becoming the center of our experience and a source of great agitation that prevents us from sleeping. We identify with the discomfort, thinking I am in pain or I can't relax. And this identification transforms a simple physical sensation into a state of mental suffering. Stoicism offers us a liberating perspective on our relationship with the body. For the Stoic sages, the body is considered a preferred indifferent. It is preferred because, rationally, we prefer health to illness, comfort to discomfort. But it is indifferent because it doesn't have the power to define the quality of our soul or disturb our inner peace unless we give it that power. Our true self, our command center, is our mind, our capacity to reason and choose. The body is an instrument, a loyal servant that allows us to navigate the world, but it is not the master of our tranquility. We can learn to observe the body's sensations with calm detachment, like a wise king who listens to the reports of his messengers without being swayed by them. Pain may be present, but suffering is a choice. Discomfort may be a fact, but agitation is a reaction. To cultivate this healthy and peaceful separation between the observer and the observed, let's engage in a practice of disidentification. Turn your attention to any prominent physical sensation at this moment. It may be tension in your neck, an itch, a feeling of heaviness. Instead of merging with this sensation, try observing it like a curious scientist. Change your internal language. Instead of "my neck is aching," try the formulation, "There is a sensation of pain being perceived in the neck area." Feel the subtle yet powerful shift in perspective that this phrase creates. It generates a space between you and the sensation. You are not the pain. You are the consciousness that perceives the pain. Breathe gently into that space. Don't try to make the sensation disappear. Don't fight it. Just allow it to be what it is, maintaining your position as the calm and impartial observer. Imagine the sensation is a small cloud in your vast inner sky. The cloud may be dark or uncomfortable, but it cannot hurt the sky. Continue observing. Note if the sensation changes. Does it intensify? Does it diminish? Does it move? By observing it without resistance, you stop feeding it with the energy of your aversion. Often, when simply observed with acceptance, the very intensity of the sensation begins to decrease. But even if it doesn't diminish, your relationship with it has changed. It is no longer a tyrant, but merely a transient phenomenon in your consciousness. And you, the observer, remain at peace, free to relax and fall asleep, even in the presence of discomfort. 17th Stoic Reflection: the transient nature of emotions. In the quiet of the night, emotions that were kept at bay during the day may emerge with overwhelming force. A wave of anxiety about the future may wash over you. Sadness over a past loss may color the darkness. A feeling of loneliness may seem like an abyss. When immersed in an intense emotion, especially in the silence of the night, it can seem total and permanent. The mind tells us, "I am anxious," or "I am sad," as if this emotion were the totality of our being, a fixed state from which there is no escape. This identification with emotion is the root of prolonged suffering and a major obstacle to sleep. Stoic wisdom teaches us to see emotions, or passions as they called them, in a different light. They are not our true nature, but rather the result of judgments, often incorrect, about events. And, like everything in the universe, they are fundamentally impermanent. An emotion is like a weather pattern in the mind. It may be a violent storm of anger, a dense fog of melancholy, or a gust of panic. But no storm, however strong, lasts forever. The sky, our fundamental consciousness, always remains clear and serene behind the passing clouds. Understanding this doesn't prevent us from feeling, but it prevents us from drowning in our feelings. It allows us to experience the emotion without becoming the emotion. It's the difference between being lost in a storm and observing it from a safe window in our home. Peace is not the absence of clouds, but the remembrance that we are the sky. To cultivate this perspective of serene observation, let's practice a visualization of acceptance and flow. Gently bring to your mind a difficult emotion you may be feeling now, or that has recently visited you. Don't immerse yourself in it. Just acknowledge its presence. Now give this emotion a color and a shape. Perhaps anxiety is a gray electric cloud. Perhaps sadness is a heavy blue fog. Perhaps loneliness is a dark, empty shape. See this shape gently hovering in the space of your mind. Your instinctive reaction may be to push it away, to fight against it. For a moment, do the opposite. Just allow it to be there, without resistance. Breathe deeply and, as you exhale, imagine you are creating a vast space around this emotional cloud. You are becoming the sky. Continue breathing, and with each breath, feel the sky of your consciousness becoming wider and more spacious. The cloud of emotion, which once seemed to fill everything, is now just a small object floating in this immensity. Observe it with detached curiosity. See how its edges are not as solid as they seemed. See how it moves slowly, changing shape. There is nothing you need to do. The nature of the sky is to allow clouds to come and go, and the nature of clouds is to eventually dissipate. Continue to rest as the vast and peaceful sky. Feel the tranquility that does not depend on the weather, and know that like this cloud, all emotions, however intense, will also pass, leaving behind the serene clarity of your true self, ready for rest. 18th, Stoic Reflection: the wealth of simplicity. The mind, even when tired, is a wishing machine. In the quiet of the night, it may begin to weave lists of things that, if we had them, would finally bring us happiness and peace. A better job, a bigger house, a different relationship, more recognition, more security. This state of wanting, of constantly seeking something outside ourselves, generates an undercurrent of dissatisfaction. It puts us in a state of lack, focusing on what is missing instead of appreciating what already exists. This incessant pursuit is like trying to quench thirst by drinking salt water. The more we drink, the thirstier we become. Epictetus, a man who literally possessed nothing, offered us one of the deepest keys to wealth and peace. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few desires. This is a complete inversion of the logic of our world. The path to abundance, according to the Stoics, is not through addition, but through subtraction. It is the practice of voluntary simplicity, the conscious act of reducing our desires so that we can discover the immense wealth already present in our lives. When we stop chasing more and different, our attention can finally rest on the enough that is already here. And in the silence of the night, enough reveals itself as a treasure, a roof over our heads, a breathing body, a warm and safe bed. Simplicity is not about deprivation, but about clarity. It is removing the noise of desire so that we can hear the gentle music of contentment. To cultivate this feeling of inner wealth, let's engage in a meditation of contentment. Begin by acknowledging, without judgment, any desire or feeling of lack that may be present in your mind now. Just notice it. Now, gently shift your attention. Bring your focus to the simple and undeniable reality of this moment. Feel the contact of your body with the bed. Acknowledge the simple marvel of having a safe place to rest. Think of the complexity and effort of countless people that were necessary for you to have this mattress, this pillow, this blanket. Feel a silent gratitude for this simple comfort. Now bring your attention to your breath. You don't need to do anything for it to happen. The air, the most essential element for life, enters your body freely. Feel the wealth of this gift. You have enough air. Bring your attention to your body. It may have aches and imperfections, but it is alive. Your heart is beating. Your brain is conscious. Feel the wealth of being alive in this moment. You have enough life. Continue to rest in this awareness of what is simple, present, and sufficient. With each exhale, let go of a desire, an ambition, a comparison. With each inhale, breathe in the peace of contentment. Discover that by wanting less, you possess more. You possess the present moment. You possess yourself. And in this vast inner wealth, which no one can take from you, allow your mind to finally calm down and find the supreme luxury, a deep and peaceful sleep. 19th Stoic. Reflection. The purpose of rest. In our productivity-obsessed culture, rest is often seen as a luxury, or worse, as a sign of laziness. We may even feel a pang of guilt as we lie down, as if we were wasting time, as if there were something more important we should be doing. This mentality transforms the bed into a battlefield, where the need to rest fights against the pressure to be productive. This internal struggle is a source of tension that can sabotage the very quality of our sleep. Stoicism, with its emphasis on reason and living in accordance with nature, offers us a much healthier and nobler perspective on rest. For a Stoic, sleep is not an interruption of life, but an essential and purposeful part of it. We don't rest to escape our duties, but rather to prepare ourselves to fulfill them with excellence. Sleep is not an act of indulgence, but an act of rational self-care. It is the recognition that our body and mind, like any finely tuned instrument, need maintenance and recovery to function at their best. Resting deeply is one of the most virtuous things we can do at night, as restorative sleep allows us to be more patient, more courageous, more just, and wiser the following day. By giving sleep a purpose, we transform it from a passive act of exhaustion into an active act of restoration. We stop fighting against the need to rest and begin to embrace it as an intelligent and necessary part of a well-lived life. To align your mind with this healing purpose, let's set a gentle intention for your sleep. Let your body relax completely, surrendering its weight to the bed. Now, instead of letting your mind wander aimlessly, let's give it one last simple task. Ask yourself, what is the purpose of my rest tonight? Let the answer arise not from pressure, but from an inner wisdom. Perhaps your intention is purely physical. You can tell yourself in a mental whisper, my intention for this sleep is to allow every cell in my body to regenerate and heal. Feel this intention spreading throughout your body, like a soothing balm. Perhaps your intention is emotional. You can think, my intention is to release the emotional tensions of the day and awaken with a lighter and more serene heart. Visualize the heavy emotions dissolving into the quiet of the night. Or perhaps your intention is mental. You can affirm, my intention is to calm the noise of my thoughts so that I may have clarity and focus tomorrow. Imagine your mind as a turbulent lake that, during the night, becomes perfectly calm and clear. Choose the intention that resonates most with you now. Hold it gently in your consciousness for a few moments. There is no need to force anything. The simple act of setting an intention aligns all your energies in the direction of rest and renewal. You are no longer trying to sleep. You are engaging in a purposeful act of restoration. With this noble task in mind, give yourself a the final permission to begin the work. Surrender to the process, trusting that sleep, guided by your intention, will do exactly what needs to be done for your greater good. 20th Stoic Reflection. Trust in the natural order. Logos. Sometimes the anxiety that keeps us awake at night is deeper than the everyday worries. It's an existential anxiety, a fundamental fear that the universe is a chaotic and indifferent place, and that we are alone and unprotected amidst chance. This fear can manifest as a feeling that we need to be constantly vigilant, that if we relax our control, everything will fall apart. It's the feeling that the weight of the world rests on our shoulders. Stoicism offers the deepest antidote to this fundamental fear: trust in the Logos. The Logos is the Stoic principle of reason, order, and divine intelligence that permeates the entire universe. For the Stoics, the cosmos is not a chaotic accident, but a living organism, perfectly ordered and intelligent. Every event, from the movement of galaxies to the beating of our own heart, is part of this vast and incomprehensible web of cause and effect. Everything that happens for a reason, as part of a perfect cosmic plan, even if our limited minds cannot comprehend it. The practice of trusting in the Logos is the ultimate act of letting go of control. It is recognizing that we are not the managers of the universe. We are a small but integral part of it, and, as a part, we can trust in the wisdom of the whole. The cycle of day and night, of activity and rest, is not our invention. It is an expression of the rhythm of the Logos. Resisting sleep is, on a deep level, resisting the natural order of the universe. Surrendering to sleep is an act of faith in the wisdom of nature. To feel this confidence on a cellular level, let's connect to this larger order. Feel your body lying still, immobile, and relaxed. Now bring your awareness to the sensation of gravity, the invisible and constant force that keeps you safely in your bed, connected to the planet. It's a force that works perfectly, without any help from you. Trust it. Now think of the air you breathe, a perfect mixture of gases that sustains your life every second. It's simply there, available. Trust it. Think of your heart, beating at a perfect rhythm, pumping life to every part of your body, a process of astonishing complexity that happens without your conscious supervision. Trust it. Expand your awareness outward. Think of the Earth's rotation, reliably and silently spinning to take us away from the sun and immerse us in the healing darkness of night, an act of unimaginable precision. Trust it. Think of the moon, the stars, the galaxies, all following their laws and cycles in a silent, ordered dance that stretches for billions of years. You are part of all this. The same intelligence that orchestrates this cosmic dance is the intelligence that now invites you to rest. You don't need to understand everything. You don't need to control anything. You just need to trust. With a final exhale, release the need to be the manager of your life. Surrender control to the higher wisdom that created you and sustains you. Silently repeat, I trust the process of life. I surrender to the natural order of things. I am safe. And in this trust, in this surrender to the Logos, find the deepest peace and allow it to carry you to sleep. 21st Stoic Reflection. Memento mori and the gift of rest. In the deep quiet of the night, when the distractions of the world fade away, the mind can turn to the most fundamental questions. A subtle, often unspoken anxiety that permeates our culture is that of time. We feel that time is always slipping away, that every moment of inactivity is a moment lost. We carry this mentality of incessant productivity to bed, where the pressure to make the most of every second clashes with the biological need to rest. We feel a slight guilt for simply lying there, doing nothing. Stoicism, paradoxically, offers us the cure for this anxiety through its deepest and, at first glance, darkest practice. Memento mori. Remember that you are mortal. Instead of being a source of fear, this remembrance, when contemplated wisely, is the greatest source of permission. If our life is finite, if our time here is a brief and precious gift, then the question is not how to fill every second with activity, but how to live each moment wisely. And what is the wisest act we can perform when the day is done, when the body is tired and the mind is full? The wisest act is to rest. Rest ceases to be a waste of time and becomes a sacred act of honoring our own nature. It is the recognition that, in order to live well the days that remain, we need to surrender to the renewal of the night. Fighting sleep in the name of productivity is like a farmer who refuses to let his field lie fallow. During the winter, in his eagerness for more harvests, he exhausts the soil and guarantees future sterility. Memento Mori teaches us to honor the cycles, to value the winter of rest as much as the spring of activity. It frees us from the tyranny of urgency and invites us to the wisdom of rhythm. For this permission to rest to settle deeply into your soul, let's engage in a contemplation on the value of repose. Imagine your life as a single beautiful day. The morning, with its fresh, light and abundant energy, was your youth. The afternoon, with the strong sun and intense work, was your adult life. Now, night has come. The sun has set. The day's work is complete. The tools have been put away. The harvest, whatever it may be, has been gathered. This is not a time of lament for the end of the day, but a time of appreciation for its completeness. The beauty of the night does not lie in what is done, but in what is left undone. It is the beauty of the pause, the quiet, the integration. To fight sleep at this moment would be like trying to force the sun to rise again in the middle of the night. It would be a fight against the very nature of time. Instead, align yourself with this natural rhythm. Give yourself the same permission that nature gives itself. Just as the flower closes at dusk, just as the earth cools, allow your consciousness to withdraw. Allow your muscles to surrender. Whisper to yourself, the day's work is done. I have lived this day. Now, I give myself the sacred gift of rest. Feel the truth of these words. Feel the burden of productivity dissolve. Feel the guilt transform into wisdom. You are not wasting time. You are participating in one of the most essential and healing rituals of existence. You are preparing for the gift of a new dawn. And in this deep permission, in this acceptance of the natural cycle of life and rest, find the peace to surrender completely. 20-second Stoic reflection. The dissolution of eyes. The ego in rest. As you delve deeper and deeper into tranquility, observe the subtle entity that may still be on guard. The self. The ego. This self is the narrator of our story, the character we play every day. It is the sum of our memories, our ambitions, our fears, our name, our profession. During the day, this self is essential for navigating the world. But at night, it can become the biggest obstacle to sleep. The ego is a creature of vigilance. It worries about its reputation. It relives its grievances. It plans its defenses. It is afraid to let go of control, for its very existence depends on a sense of separation and agency. Sleep, however, is a state of dissolution. It is the act of ceasing to be a somebody to become a nobody, of letting go of the personal story to immerse oneself in the impersonal ocean of consciousness. This surrender can be frightening for the ego. That is why, often, we find ourselves on the verge of sleep and suddenly wake up with an anxious thought about ourselves. It is the ego struggling not to dissolve. Stoic wisdom, with its cosmic perspective, helps us relax the grip of this self. It reminds us that our personal story is just a small narrative in a much larger story. The universe does not depend on our vigilance to continue. Letting go of our little self for a few hours is not annihilation, but liberation. It is the chance to rest from the burden of being someone and simply being. To facilitate this transition from self to being, let's practice a visualization of disidentification. Imagine all the masks and costumes you wore during the day. There was the mask of the competent professional, the patient parent, the caring friend, the obedient child. Each role we play comes with its own set of concerns and responsibilities. With a slow, deep breath, visualize yourself gently removing each of these masks. See the mask of your work being set aside. See the costume of your family responsibilities being carefully hung on a hanger. One by one, release yourself from the roles you played. Notice how, with each mask removed, you feel lighter, simpler, more authentic. Continue until all that remains is your naked consciousness, your simple presence, free of names, stories, duties. You are not your profession. You are not your relationships. You are not your thoughts. You are the silent consciousness that perceives all of this. Now, in this state of simple, unburdened being, visualize yourself standing at the edge of a vast, calm ocean of dark, peaceful energy. This is the ocean of sleep, of the collective unconscious. The ego may be afraid to enter, but your consciousness knows that this is your home, the source of your renewal. With a final exhale, release the last attachment to your individuality and step forward. Feel yourself gently dissolving into this warm, comforting water. There is no more you. There is only being. There is only peace. There is only unity. And in this dissolution, in this absence of the self, true and deep rest finally occurs. 23rd Stoic Reflection. Trusting in quiet. We live in a world that idolizes action and distrusts emptiness. Our culture teaches us that value lies in doing, creating, speaking, moving. Silence, quietude, doing nothing are often seen as unproductive, as a vacuum to be filled as quickly as possible. This aversion to quiet is one of the reasons why the transition to sleep can be so difficult. We lie down and, in the absence of external stimuli, the mind continues to do. It produces thoughts, it generates worries, it creates plans. We feel that we need to do something to sleep. Adjust the pillow, change position, try a technique. But Stoicism and the wisdom of nature teach us the opposite lesson. The deepest healing and regeneration occur not in action, but in inaction. It is in quietude that true magic happens. Think of a farm field. After an intense harvest, the wise farmer lets it lie fallow. He doesn't plant anything. He allows the field to simply rest. And it is in this period of apparent nothingness that the earth silently replenishes itself with nutrients, rebalances itself, and prepares for the fertility of the next spring. Our mind and body are no different. The night is our fallow time. Silence is not a sterile void. It is a fertile space of restoration. Trusting in quietude is trusting that, when we stop doing, we allow an intelligent and natural healing process to take over. It is understanding that inaction can be the most powerful and productive act we can perform at the end of the day. To cultivate this trust in the power of not doing, let's engage in a practice of complete surrender to quietude. Your only task for the next few moments is to abandon all tasks, including the task of trying to relax or trying to sleep. Let go of all techniques. Just rest. Lie down like a stone at the bottom of a lake, completely immobile, completely at peace, allowing the water of silence to surround you. Observe any subtle impulse to move, to adjust, to think about something, and, instead of following the impulse, simply relax around it. Let the impulse dissolve for lack of attention. Bring your awareness to the sensation of immobility. Feel your body completely still. Feel the silence in the air around you. And, most importantly, feel the silence behind your thoughts. Even if the mind still produces some thoughts, you can choose not to engage with them. Let them be like the sound of distant crickets at night, background noise that does not disturb the deep peace of the environment. With each exhale, feel yourself letting go a little more, sinking a little deeper into the quietude. Tell yourself, in quietude, healing happens. I don't need to do anything. I trust the power of silence. Allow this mantra to guide you to a state of deep passivity. You are not the doer. You are the one being remade. You are not the healer. You are the one being healed. And in this trust, in this surrender to the restorative power of inaction, sleep will come not as a conquest, but as a gift from the quietude itself. 24th Stoic Reflection. The body as a portal to sleep. Even with the best intentions, the mind can remain stubbornly active, like a child who refuses to go to bed. It may jump from one thought to another, weaving stories of anxiety or planning. When the mind refuses to be our guide to peace, we have a wise and infallible ally to which we can turn, our body. The body does not lie. It does not travel to the past or to the future. It inhabits, always and undeniably, the reality of the present moment. The language of the body is not made of words and concepts, but of sensations, weight, warmth, tingling, pulsation. and the innate wisdom of the body yearns for balance, homeostasis, and rest. It knows how to sleep. All we need to do is get out of its way and learn to listen to its silent wisdom. The Stoic philosophers, despite their focus on the mind, understood that we are embodied beings. Taking care of the body, listening to its signals, and honoring its natural needs is not an act of indulgence, but a profoundly rational act. Tonight, let's use the body as our portal, our final and most powerful anchor, by focusing our attention meticulously and continuously on the physical sensations of relaxation. We give the mind a task so simple and so present that it has no choice but to calm down and follow the body into the state of sleep. We stop trying to convince the mind to relax and instead allow the body to show it the way. Let's now begin this descending journey, guiding our attention through the body, inviting each part to surrender to its natural state of rest. Begin, once more, by bringing your awareness to your feet, but this time, go slower. Feel the skin of your toes. Feel the space between them. Imagine each tiny bone and muscle releasing, becoming heavy and warm. Feel that sensation of weight and warmth begin to rise very slowly to your ankles, dissolving any tension. Now, feel it moving to your calves, like warm honey spreading, making the muscles soft and heavy, very heavy. Allow this wave of relaxation to rise to your knees and thighs. Feel the weight of your legs sinking into the mattress as if they were made of lead. They are completely loose, completely at rest. The sensation of warmth and weight continues to spread to your hips, pelvis, and the base of your spine. Release all the deep muscles in this area. Surrender the weight. Now, the wave slowly rises up your back, vertebra by vertebra, dissolving each tiny knot of tension. Feel your back widening, spreading across the bed. The sensation rises through your abdomen and chest. Feel your internal organs relaxing. Feel your heart beating calmly and rhythmically. Feel your shoulders melting downwards. The warmth and weight now flow through your arms, down to your fingertips. Your arms are heavy, still, at peace. Finally, the wave of relaxation rises through your neck, your throat, relaxing the back of your head. Feel your jaw release. Feel your cheeks, your lips, and your tongue relax. Soften the small muscles around your eyes. Feel your forehead becoming smooth and spacious. Your entire body, now, is immersed in a state of deep relaxation. Continue to feel this weight, this warmth. It is your body's language telling you it is safe. It is safe to let go. It is safe to sleep. 25th, Stoic reflection. Surrender to the tide of sleep. We arrive at the final threshold, the border between relaxed awareness and sleep itself. At this point, the process of falling asleep may seem mysterious. It's not a switch that we turn on or off, but a gradual process, like a tide gently rising on the sand. Sometimes we may feel a wave of sleepiness engulf us, only to recede a moment later, leaving us frustrated and more awake than before. The final wisdom of the night is to learn the art of surfing these waves, or rather, the art of allowing them to carry us without resistance. Each wave of sleepiness is an invitation. Our task is not to grasp it forcefully, for the effort dissipates it, nor to become frustrated when it recedes. Our task is simply to be present and receptive. It is to trust the natural rhythm of our own body. Just as the ocean tide is governed by forces much larger than ourselves, the tide of sleep also follows an innate wisdom that we don't need to control, only to honor. Fighting against this rhythm, becoming frustrated with it, is what creates insomnia. Surrender is the key. It is the acceptance that sleep will come in its own time, in its own way. Our job is simply to create the most hospitable conditions possible: a relaxed body, a calm mind, and a confident spirit. The rest, we surrender to the night. This final surrender is the purest act of trust in the natural order of the universe, an echo of Amor Fati in our own cycle of rest and wakefulness. To facilitate this final surrender, let's use the image of the tide itself. Imagine yourself lying on a warm, soft, sandy beach under a starry sky. You are completely safe and comfortable. The sound of the waves is the sound of your own breath, slow, calm, and steady. Now, feel the tide of sleep beginning to rise. A small wave of relaxation and sleepiness rises and touches your feet. Feel the gentle tingling, and then feel the wave recede, leaving your feet even more relaxed than before. You do nothing. You simply observe. Another wave, a little larger, rises, covering your legs to your knees with a sensation of weight and warmth. And then, it too recedes, leaving your legs in a state of deep rest. Continue to feel this rhythm. A wave of sleepiness rises to your hips and abdomen, calming everything in its path, and then recedes. Another wave rises to your chest and shoulders, dissolving the last tensions, and recedes. You are not in a hurry. You are simply resting on the sand, allowing the night tide to do its healing work. The waves come and go, each one a little higher, a little deeper, washing you into an ever-increasing state of calm. Don't worry about when the tide will completely cover you. Just enjoy the sensation of each wave. Trust the process. At some point, a wave will come and gently lift you, carrying you to float in the warm, dark, silent ocean of sleep. There is no effort, only surrender. Allow the next wave to carry you, and the next, and the next. 26th. Stoic reflection. The wisdom of the sleeping body. As you rest, ever deeper into stillness, let us contemplate one of the deepest and humblest wisdoms that Stoicism teaches us. Trust in nature. And nowhere is this nature more intelligent and mysterious than in our own bodies. During the day, our conscious mind, our thinking self, believes it is in command. We plan, execute, solve problems. But at night, a much older and wiser intelligence takes over. As your conscious mind prepares to withdraw, a universe of complex and perfectly orchestrated processes begins to unfold within you. Your body knows, with a precision that defies our understanding, how to heal a tired muscle, how to consolidate the memories of the day, transforming experience into wisdom, how to cleanse the brain of toxins, and how to regulate the rhythm of countless billions of cells. Sleep is not a state of inactivity, but a period of intense and essential work, performed by a bodily intelligence that doesn't need our supervision. In fact, our supervision, our worry, and our attempt to help the process are the greatest obstacles to it. The Stoic learns the art of getting out of the way, of recognizing the limits of their own control, and of surrendering with reverence to the processes of nature. Trusting your body to sleep is like trusting the sun to rise. It is an act of humility and alignment with the rational order of the universe. Your only task, and the most important one, is to create conditions of peace so that this inner wisdom can perform its nightly work without interference. To cultivate this deep trust, let's engage in an act of conscious permission. Turn your attention inward to the vast landscape of your body. Instead of giving it orders to relax, let's now give it permission to perform its natural functions. Begin with your heart. In a mental whisper, tell it, "Heart, I give you permission to find your slowest, deepest, resting rhythm. I trust your wisdom." Feel your chest soften. Now, bring your attention to your lungs. Tell them, "Lungs, I give you permission to breathe for me. Breathe at the rhythm that is perfect for my rest. I trust you." Feel your breath becoming easier, more autonomous. Move your awareness to your digestive system, to all your internal organs. Send them the message, "I give you permission to work, to cleanse, to restore. I trust your renewal process." Feel your abdomen completely release. Now, address your muscles, bones, and tissues. Muscles, I give you permission to repair yourselves. Release all the tensions of the day. I trust your ability to regenerate. Feel the weight of your body deepening. Finally, address your brain, your complex mind. Tell it gently, "Brain, I give you permission to disconnect from worries, permission to organize memories, to dream, to cleanse itself. Your conscious work for today is over. I trust your nocturnal wisdom." By giving this permission to each part of yourself, you are relinquishing the role of anxious manager and assuming the role of confident observer. You are allying yourself with the intelligence of life that flows through you. And in this alliance, in this trust, the body finally feels safe to begin its sacred work of healing, carrying you with it into a truly deep and restorative sleep. 27th. Stoic reflection. Dissolving the boundary of self. As we draw ever closer to the threshold of sleep, the very sense of who we are begins to change. During the day, our identity, our self, seems like a very solid and well-defined entity. We are a name, a profession, a collection of memories and responsibilities. There is a clear boundary between self and not self, between our body and the air that surrounds it, between our mind and the outside world. This feeling of being a separate self is necessary for daily life, but it is also the source of our sense of isolation and our anxiety. It is the self that feels threatened, that worries, that resents. Sleep, in its deepest essence, is an invitation to temporarily dissolve this boundary. It is a return to a more primordial state of unity, where the distinction between self and universe becomes fluid, and finally, disappears. The fear of falling asleep sometimes is the ego's fear of dissolving. But Stoic wisdom teaches us that we are not an island, but a part of the continent, a wave in the ocean of being. Letting go of our separate identity during the night is not an annihilation, but a liberation. It's a chance to rest from the exhausting burden of being someone, with all its defenses and pretensions, and to dive back into the impersonal source of existence, where true peace and true renewal occur. It is an act of cosmic humility, a recognition that our individuality is only a temporary expression of a much larger consciousness. To facilitate this peaceful dissolution, let's focus on the boundaries of our being and invite them to soften. Bring your attention to your breath. Feel the air entering your nostrils, filling your lungs. For a moment, this air is yours. Now, feel the exhalation, the air, leaving your body and mixing with the air of the room. Where exactly does your air end and the air of the world begin? Observe how, with each breath, you are in constant exchange with the universe, inhaling what was outside, exhaling what was inside. The boundary is not as solid as it seems. Now bring your attention to your skin. Feel the temperature of the air or the blanket in contact with it. Try to feel where, exactly, the sensation of your skin ends and the sensation of the air begins. Is it a clear line or a gradual transition? Allow this boundary to become a little more porous, more diffuse. Feel the warmth of your body gently radiating into the space around you, blending with the energy of the room. You are not just in the room, you are a vibrant part of the room. Now bring your attention to sound. Listen to the ambient sounds. Do they seem to be out there and you in here? Try to dissolve this separation. Imagine that your consciousness is the very space in which sounds arise and disappear. The sound is not coming to you. It is happening in you. Continue to rest in this consciousness of merging. Feel the boundaries of your body softening. Feel your identity becoming lighter, more transparent. You are becoming less like a stone and more like a cloud, blending peacefully with the night sky. And in this merging, in this release of the separate self, the mind finally finds permission to completely switch off, plunging into a sleep that is egoless, effortless, and profoundly unifying. 28th Stoic Reflection. Embracing the darkness. Our relationship with darkness is complex. From childhood, we often learn to associate it with the unknown, with fear, with loss of control. We fill it with artificial lights, with bright screens, trying to maintain the wakefulness and clarity of the day for as long as possible. Darkness, for the anxious mind, can seem like a threatening void, a place where worries can grow unseen. But the wisdom of nature teaches us a different lesson. Darkness is not the enemy of light. It is its partner, its precursor. It is the womb of creation. It is in the dark soil that the seed germinates. It is in the dark cocoon that transformation happens. It is in the dark womb that life takes shape. The darkness of night is not a void to be feared, but a rich, fertile, and profoundly healing environment. It is an invitation to rest our most dominant senses, especially vision, and to turn to a more intuitive and receptive way of being. Darkness is a cloak that protects us from the excessive stimuli of the world, creating a sanctuary of silence and introspection. Embracing the darkness of night is an act of trust. It is the acceptance that not everything needs to be seen, analyzed, and understood. It is the permission for the mysteries of healing and regeneration to happen far from the watchful eye of our ego. It is understanding that for the light of morning to be truly welcome, we must first surrender fully to the comforting peace of night. To transform any lingering aversion to darkness into a feeling of safety and comfort, let's immerse ourselves in it with our imagination. Feel the darkness in your room. If there's any light, imagine the darkness as a soft, velvety mist filling every space. Imagine it not as an absence of light, but as a positive, calming presence. Feel it as a substance, as if you could touch it. Visualize it as a dark velvet blanket, infinitely soft and heavy, gently draped over you. Feel its comforting weight on your body, soothing your nervous system. Feel its softness against your skin. This darkness isn't cold and empty. It's warm, protective, and filled with a peaceful silence. It envelops you completely, creating a safe cocoon where you're shielded from the outside world. Inside this cocoon of darkness, there's nothing you need to see, nothing you need to do. Your eyes can completely relax. Your mind can stop trying to decipher the world through sight. It's a deep rest for your senses. Allow your body to dissolve into this welcoming darkness. Let it hold you, cradle you. Feel how, in this absence of visual stimulation, your consciousness can turn inward in a much deeper way. The darkness outside mirrors and invites the silence within. Rest in this embrace. Feel safe. Feel at peace. Let the healing darkness of the night guide you to the world of dreams, a place of mystery, renewal, and profound peace. 29th Stoic Reflection. The sound of deep silence. Our journey has taken us through many landscapes of the mind. We have released the day. We have calmed the soul. We have relaxed the body. Now we arrive at a place of extreme simplicity. We reach the threshold of the great silence. At this point, there are no more complex philosophical concepts to understand. There are no more elaborate visualizations to construct. The entire practice boils down to the simplest, and at the same time, deepest act. Listening. Not listening to external sounds, but listening to the silence itself that contains them. In our incessant search for answers and control, we often forget that the peace we seek is not something to be created, but something to be rediscovered. It's already here. It is the fabric of which consciousness itself is made. Silence is our true nature. Thoughts, emotions, sensations, these are merely ripples on the surface of this ocean of stillness. Throughout this journey, we have been learning to let the ripples calm. Now, the water is almost still, and we can begin to perceive the vast and crystalline depth of the ocean itself. The final practice is not a practice of doing, but of being. It is the act of resting in one's own consciousness, of resting in the stillness that has always been behind the noise. It is a state of pure receptivity, where the mind stops searching and simply is. This is the final portal to sleep, a state that, in itself, is a form of deep silence. To enter this silence, there's nowhere to go, only what to let go of. Let go of the effort. Let go of expectation. Let go even of the desire to sleep. Simply rest and listen. Listen to the silence in your room. Feel it as a tangible presence, as an atmosphere of peace. Now, listen to the silence behind any sound that may arise. The sound happens within the silence, but cannot disturb it. Silence is primary. Sound is secondary. Bring your attention to the silence between your breaths, the small point of quietude at the end of the inhalation, and the longer, more relaxing pause at the end of the exhalation. Rest in these pauses. They are portals to a deeper stillness. Now, listen to the silence behind your thoughts. Even if a thought arises, there is a silent space before it and a silent space after it. Rest your attention in this space, on this empty screen of the mind. This silence is your home. It is safe. It is peaceful. It is infinitely healing. Allow your consciousness to merge with it. Let it fill you. Let it dissolve you. There is nothing more to say, only the silence. Rest in the silence, deep and deeper. 30th Stoic Reflection. The final permission. We have reached the end of our conscious journey. The mind has been guided. The body has been relaxed. The soul has been calmed. You have arrived at the edge of the great ocean of sleep. At this point, All techniques, all words, all intentions must be gently left on the shore. To take the final step, to immerse yourself in the healing waters of rest, only one thing is necessary: permission. It is the final act of surrender, the complete relinquishing of control. It is the trust that you have done all you could, and that now a greater wisdom will take over. Throughout our lives, we have learned to hold on, to control, to manage. Sleep teaches us the opposite lesson. It teaches us to let go, to trust, to surrender. The last barrier to sleep is often the self that is trying to sleep, but the self cannot sleep. It can only create the conditions for sleep to happen. And you have done that. You have created a sanctuary of peace in your mind and in your body. Now, your task is complete. The guardian can finally rest. The manager can finally take a break. The final permission is the most loving act of self-care you can give yourself at the end of the day. It is the recognition that you are worthy of rest, that you deserve this peace, that it is okay to let go now. And so, with the greatest kindness, with the greatest gentleness, give yourself this final permission. There is nothing more to do. The day is over. There is nothing more to resolve. The worries have been surrendered. There is nothing more to be. Your identity can rest. With a slow, final exhalation, let go of the last vestige of effort. Let go of the last particle of control. Allow your body to become heavy as the earth. Allow your mind to become empty as the sky. It's all right. You are safe. You are at peace. Allow sleep to receive you in its arms. Allow the night to heal you. Allow the stillness to renew you. The journey is complete. Now just rest. Rest. Sleep well, deeply, and restoratively. We have reached the end of our 30-night journey, but the true beginning of a new way to find rest. We have come a long way together, learning to release the day, to calm the soul, and to surrender to the wisdom of the night. May these reflections serve as an anchor for your inner peace, a refuge to which you can always return. This is a practice that strengthens in community. Therefore, if this journey of 30 reflections has strengthened your nocturnal spirit, I invite you to join us in the comments and affirm your commitment to peace by writing the words, "May I find serenity in stillness." If these words have brought calm to your mind, a simple gesture like leaving your like allows this sanctuary of tranquility to reach more people seeking restorative sleep. Our exploration of wisdom continues. To not miss the next journeys we have prepared, subscribe to our channel and transform your life, one reflection at a time. And in doing so, don't forget to activate the bell, ensuring that our future meditations always find their way to you. Thank you for your presence and your dedication to your own peace. Have a deep and restorative night's sleep.